Greetings and welcome to another impressions video here at Words About Games, and today we're going to be looking at The Missing, J.J. Macfield and the Island of Memories. The Missing is a psychological horror game that hits incredibly close to home for me personally, thanks to the story it's telling. You play as J.J., whose friend Emily goes missing during a camping trip, seemingly being chased by a strange monster. As J.J. gives chase, she's struck by lightning and seemingly killed. Instead of dying, however, she refuses to give up on her friend, and gains the ability to regenerate her injuries no matter how severe, which allows her to continue on and search for Emily. This is a quintessential sweary 65 game. Its core mechanics are a bit wonky, but its narrative, themes and cast of characters are also brilliantly well realised that you'll barely notice or care for most of its running time. Sure, there were a few times where I was cursing out a slightly clunky, slightly inconsistent control scheme, but I was also deeply enraptured by The Missing, desperate to press on and find out where Swery was taking me next on his latest crazy, brilliant adventure. This is a game that very much transcends the sum of its parts. At its most basic level, The Missing is a 2D horror platformer. You'll run from left to right, traversing a series of beautifully drawn environments that make up a chain of hubs containing puzzles for you to solve. The game has one horrifying, macabre twist, however, in the form of its protagonist's effective immortality. JJ can survive incredible injuries. Her neck can be snapped, her limbs can be torn off, she can even be decapitated, yet she can keep going, regenerating any damage or lost limbs as she progresses. To find her friend, however, she'll need to actually make use of her newfound ability to solve puzzles. The first couple of times you're injured are genuinely unintentional. Pretty soon, though, you'll hit a puzzle that seems impossible, until you realise you can intentionally sever one of JJ's limbs to use as a projectile. This is where the true horror of The Missing lies. Sure, there are spooky environments and disturbing creatures. Doll-like creatures that descend upon JJ to scoop her up and dismember her are a particular highlight. But it's willfully damaging JJ that inflicts the most psychological damage, both on the protagonist herself and the player. Through almost 5 hours of game time, I never, ever got used to hearing JJ's all too real cries of pain and anguish as she burst into flames or had her legs cut off. Hell, when the opening title appears on screen, it does so above JJ as she's openly weeping, just so you know what kind of experience you're in for. It's hard to stomach, and you'll be constantly needing to destroy this poor girl over and over again to keep moving forward, thanks to some puzzles that are as clever as they are brutal to actually solve, such as lighting JJ on fire to provide yourself a light source or having her completely decapitated so a disembodied head can roll through smaller spaces. While these mechanics are simultaneously clever and stomach-churning, they do start to wear thin at certain points, and not just because JJ's howls of pain feel all too real. It's just not backed up by a satisfying control scheme. JJ's movements are laborious, which is understandable when she's got no legs or a broken neck, but it makes maneuvering her downright unsatisfying at times. Platforming can feel imprecise, and there are a few times it felt more difficult than it should to simply get it going in the right direction. There are only one or two places where this is keenly felt, but it's a constant feeling throughout the game. This is compounded by some really stingy checkpoints that can take a ton of your progress should you meet an unfortunate end. Luckily, moments where you can actually die are few and far between. While this can raise your frustration momentarily, you'll gladly push on, thanks to the story being told by The Missing. I obviously won't spoil where this is going, but the themes woven through the weird narrative are truly excellent and tie the main mechanic into the story brilliantly. You're afforded the opportunity to really get into JJ's head by unlocking text messages as you progress. Her faithful plushie, FK, because sweary, will text you periodically to check in on you, and you're able to see key interactions from before the island with the people closest to JJ, her mother, Emily, and her close friends and favourite professor, as you progress. This lets you really get to know JJ, which grounds her as a fully fleshed out character, having the effect of both letting you care about her, while simultaneously making you feel every scream of pain as you dismember her to counterbalance the seesaw to progress onward. While the texts with FK, JJ's mother, and Emily are unlocked as you move through the story, you'll need to gather collectible donuts to unlock the rest of the texts. They're not terribly difficult to find, and it's absolutely worth going out of your way to really flesh out JJ's backstory. As I said at the top of this review, The Missing is a typical sweary game. As with his previous work on games like Deadly Premonition and D4, there are plenty of quirks in the imperfect gameplay that can cause momentary bouts of frustration. But, as in those other games, those temporary frustrations will mostly melt away thanks to the incredibly affecting journey that the game depicts. The story is heartfelt, brilliantly realised, and a genuine pleasure to experience. Just make sure to take heed of the content warning at the game's outset, as the violence that you'll be inflicting on JJ throughout the missing does not hold back in any way, and can be incredibly upsetting as the game moves on. Thank you very much for watching this video, guys. If you've enjoyed it, please keep it here at Words About Games. We've got tons of content, including our weekly podcast, more impressions videos, patch notes, and our weekly indie game of the week. We also stream over on Twitch at twitch.tv/wordsaboutgames every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. And most importantly, have a great day.